Hi students. So if you're somebody who's in the 11th standard academic year 22-23, then this video is absolutely for you. Now I know that on one hand all of you all are working hard in your class 11, enjoying the first year after the pandemic is opened up, enjoying campus college life, and that goes on. But you're also at that point in the year where you need to start thinking about your 12th standard, which starts in the next maybe 5-6 months from now. And you also need to start thinking about several professional career options that are available in India, some of them with class 12, some of them after class 12. So at least you need to have, awareness of what is available in terms of a professional career choice that you'd like to make. So I'm going to, in this video, take you through some of the career options which are in vogue in India today. Now, some of them can be done with class 12, some after class 12, some after graduation. So let's talk about that. And then I'm going to deep dive in this presentation telling you about chartered accountancy as a profession, because that's one of the careers that starts along with your 12th standard, right? So I'm going to address the prospects of CA in India, this whole confusion right now between the existing syllabus and the new syllabus, which is expected anytime soon. And as a student for you, when does your CA journey begin? How does your preparation begin? And what life in the next 5 years looks like, right? So stay tuned. And having seen this presentation, you don't really need to make a choice so soon, but you need to be aware so that you have all the information to be able to make an informed decision, right? So stay tuned and let's deep dive into the presentation. All right. So I often start my presentation with a very powerful quote that I've really loved over the years, where Ratan Tata states that I need an MBA for running my business, but I need a chartered accountant to teach them how to run the business. Now, such a powerful quote, and a very simple line, but it so much talks about the role that chartered accountants have to play in an organization, in a business, right? Right from understanding the entire skeleton of how a business works, to actually getting into the skin of the entrepreneur, getting into the skin of the businessman, and really mentoring and teaching the businessman how to run the business. And that only happens because of such a variety of skills that chartered accountants today possess. So let's understand. Okay, now let's understand your journey, students. आप सभी क्लास 11 में हैं, academic year 22-23 में. Now, year after, you will move to 12th standard in academic year 23-24. Now, as you do your 12th standard, or rather after your 12th standard, there are two very important things that you need to know of. One is your graduation and the other is professional qualifications. Now, graduation is basically your 12th standard ke baad 3 years, which is your first year, second and then third year. And in Bombay, you could choose any of these streams. You have BCom regular, you have BCom specialized in accounting and finance, you have, which is called BAF, you have BCom specialized in banking and insurance, which quite a few colleges have started to give. You have BCom specialized in financial markets, where you learn, you learn a lot of subjects about how capital markets, how stock markets work. Then you have BBA. BBA is basically, and BMS. Now, BBA and BMS, I can say, are younger brothers and sisters of an MBA, right? So you learn a lot. You learn about management, you learn about business studies, you learn about business administration, right? And you have law. Now, of course, if you're somebody who's doing law, you'll have to appear for CLAT, you'll have to appear for, those kind of entrance exams and get to a law school. So your journey is very different as regards law is concerned. Otherwise, you would choose one of these, 5-6 categories of BCom and proceed. Now, independent of whether you take a BCom, whether you opt for a BAF, whether you opt for, whether you opt for a BMS or you opt for a BBA, any graduation program is fairly part-time in nature. Okay, when I say part-time in nature, means it leaves you with a lot of time available on hand to be able to be productive, to be able to do something else. Number one. Okay, so if your aspiration is, sir, I'm going to do a BMS, फिर मैं सोचूंगा of doing an MBA, or I'm going to do a BBA and do an MBA, or I'm just going to do a plain vanilla BCom. Maybe it was enough in the yesteryears, but not anymore. Okay, in the new world, you have to be able to have a vision of graduating with 2 degrees. One is your graduation degree, and second is some good solid professional qualification. Okay, and this I'm talking about those students who obviously want to work hard and make it big in life. Okay, so therefore it becomes very, very important to understand that apart from this, what are the professional qualifications, or what are those other degrees, master programs that are in vogue in India. Now obviously you have a CA, which is doing very well. You have an ACCA, which is doing very well. You have an international CFA, a lot of students are doing. You can do CS, you can do CMA, okay, you can do an actuary, you can do an MBA. Now each of these degrees has a different flair. Of course, chartered accountancy I'll talk about in a lot of detail now, where you become the master of a lot of subjects on hand. Okay, ACCA also is a fabulous degree with a global perspective. CA makes you very strong locally, ACCA makes you very strong globally. A combination of both is also something that a lot of students are pursuing. CFA is focused on global capital markets, it's focused on financial analysis, it's focused on a lot of financial economics. So if you're somebody who is very inclined to make a career in capital markets, make a career in understanding how equity markets, debt markets, commodity markets work, how global economics works, then this could be a good career option. CS is company secretary, is obviously an Indian degree, which is focused on secretarial compliances of a company. CMA, that's cost and management accountant, erstwhile it was called ICWA, is again an Indian qualification, and it's focused on cost and management accountancy. Okay, actuary is hardcore focused on insurance, and MBA, everybody knows, is focused on understanding how business administration happens. Okay, so usually in India you will see that students opt for one of these programs, while there may be many more, but these are the ones which are more so in vogue with a lot of commerce students. Okay, now it's also important to know that which degree starts when. Okay, because not all degrees can be done at the same time. So if you're planning to do chartered accountancy, you can begin it as early as with class 12. The preparation for CS starts with class 12. ACCA also can be done with class 12, post class 12, both the options are available. CFA, earlier it was only done after graduation, but recently there has been an amendment. Recently there's been a notification from the CFA Institute that you can pursue it. You can give the first exam when you're in your second year of graduation, which means you can start the preparation in your first year. So that's why I have written after 12th. You can start the preparation in your first year, and you can actually appear for the first exam when you're in your second year of graduation. CS, actuary, CMA typically are degrees that happen post class 12. LLB also, you give your entrance exams typically post class 12 and then opt for a law school. MBA is done only post your 3 years of graduation. Okay, so this is what the landscape of some of the popular qualifications and when they can start in India. Now I'm going to, in this presentation, focus on CA as a career today, because I think it's very prime and it can be done with class 12. Progressively I'll be showing a lot of videos on the other qualifications as well, but today my focus area is going to be doing CA, because you can start it as early as with class 12. Okay. Now, one of the reasons students CA has been so much in vogue over the last so many years, and it continues to be, a very solid, top-notch qualification for commerce students, and the first choice of all talented students in India, is because it prepares you with a lot of skills and a lot of mix of knowledge that the businesses today need. From an Indian perspective, it makes you very, very solid. I often give the example that when you're not well, let's assume, when you decide to go to a doctor, when you go to your local physician who's at least got an MBBS and maybe an MD thereafter, so he is able to analyze you and tell you exactly what the problem is, right? Your doctor never tells you that, I only understand that part of your human body which is above the head, or which is, I only understand the left side of your body, I don't understand the right side. ऐसा कभी जवाब नहीं देता है डॉक्टर, right? आप whatever problem you have, you tell the doctor and he's able to diagnose the problem, and then what he does is either he can treat it at the local level or he will direct you to a super specialist. So if he feels that you've got a problem concerned with the heart, he will direct you to a cardiologist. If he feels that you need a gynecologist, he will direct you accordingly, right? So then there are super specialists. Those that obviously understand the human body, but they have greater understanding and specialized understanding of certain parts of the body. Okay, now if I have to draw the same example to commerce, I think a chartered accountant today is somebody that understands the entire human body very, very well. Okay, because you've been taught a variety of subjects to appreciate everything. Now, for in my example, the human body is the business, right? So you understand every aspect of the business very well, and then over time, you pick up that part of a business that you love the most and you super specialize with more global qualifications, right? So today you have so many chartered accountants, they study CA and then they come back and say, oh, I've really loved financial markets. I've really loved understanding how equity works, how derivative works, how financial analysis happens. So a lot of them pursue international CFA, right? Then you have a lot of chartered accountants who come back and say, we're very solid from an Indian perspective. Now we need to understand how global businesses work, how multinational companies operate. We want to know how 21st century businesses use modern day technology to bring up business structures, right? So a lot of them do a CA plus an ACCA, very, very solid combination. A lot of chartered accountants come back and say that they've really developed a liking for legal, knowledge, laws, regulations. So a lot of them pursue an LLB after doing their CA plus LLB is also something I've seen recently. A lot of them have got a lot of inclination in taxes. So there are so many interesting certifications in, direct taxes, international taxes that, chartered accountants then super specialize in. These days you will not believe, but everything is all about data, isn't it? Everything is about analytics today, right? If you look at any business, everything is about numbers and analysis from numbers. So data analytics has become such a big field, and so many different kind of jobs and so many different kind of opportunities in data analytics. So I have so many of my CA students who finish CA and then do some wonderful degrees in data analytics. So that's where the world is getting today. First, you need to understand the human body, okay? And like I said, that human body or that business, one of the qualifications that really helps you understand it very, very well is chartered accountancy. Then you'd understand what part of the business you love the most. Add some good global solid qualification, and then the end result is a super specialist that you evolve as. So that's what your next 5-6 years of education really should look like. Okay, while in this slide I'm obviously trying to explain to you that different degrees specialize in different aspects. Like if you look at a CMA, while there are many subjects, it's very heavy on management accounting and cost accounting. Okay, most of you all in 11th standard have learned financial accounting. आप एक accounting करते हो after a transaction has happened, post-mortem transaction हो जाता है, फिर आप उसको record करते हो. As management accountants, you are slightly more proactive. You're thinking about what transactions should happen. At what price transactions should happen. How are you going to make those margins? How are you able to control those costs? Beautiful science, right? So you learn management accounting as more proactive, and it's done extensively in CMA. CS obviously focuses a lot on regulations, Companies Act, laws. LLB is focused, of course, on definitely with laws. Actuary is a different science. It's focused on hardcore insurance and math. MBA focuses a lot on management and business administration. CFA focuses a lot on capital markets and financial management. CA is one of those qualifications where you will study a little or most of it. You will become an expert at accounting. You will study a lot of cost and management accounting. You will become an expert at taxes, direct taxes, which is income tax, indirect taxes, which is GST, international taxes. You will learn a lot about business administration, business management. You will learn a lot about equity markets, capital markets, bond markets. CFA में curriculum जो cover होता है, बहुत कुछ CA curriculum में भी cover होता है. You will learn a lot of laws. So you will learn, like I said, a host of subjects. Okay, that will make you at least that will give you a good head start. Okay, and then you will like something and you will super specialize. By doing one more degree at least. Okay, so how does the CA course operate? Let's understand that. The CA course, all of you all know, is governed by the ICAI, that's the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay, the exam is spread over 3 levels. You have CA Foundation, which is level 1, you have CA Intermediate, which is level 2, and you have CA Final, which is level 3. So 3 exams there. It takes on an average 4.5 to 5 years to complete your CA, and you start the preparation in class 12, and maybe 1.5 years or so after your graduation, if everything has gone well in the first attempt, then you can become a chartered accountant. Okay, now very important, what kind of work can a chartered accountant do? Now क्योंकि आप इतने वैरायटी के सब्जेक्ट्स सीखते हो, आप बहुत सारे रोल्स में jobs, you can get jobs in many roles. It really depends upon what is your liking. It really depends on what is your aptitude, what you have liked a lot. So let me take you through what kind of roles these days chartered accountants work in. So of course accountancy. Now क्योंकि आप एक expert हो गए हो accounting में, आपको accounting of the highest level आता है. You can work in the accountancy departments of organizations. Okay, so accountancy, corporate financial reporting जिसे कहा जाता है, right? So if you look at any of these big companies, imagine for a minute a company like a Reliance, or imagine for a minute a company like an Infosys. There are thousands and lakhs and millions of transactions happening on a daily basis. Okay, imagine accounting for those. Imagine the size of the teams and the kind of technology that would be needed to account for these transactions correctly, to report them correctly, to have the right figures entering your P&L and balance sheet, such that you really know what are the profits that the company is making, or what is the state of the assets and liabilities. Now I know in class 11 it's when you start off, it's limited to a textbook or a worksheet, but just go ahead in time and imagine a business which is doing millions of transactions in the year. At what level you will have to set up robust accounting processes, robust technology, so that you can get the profits. And so it's a huge job, and you will find lots of chartered accountants as part of this department of an organization. Number 2, a lot of chartered accountants also become auditors. Now, who's an auditor? An auditor is somebody who is a checker, who checks, he's like the doctor. He actually goes and inspects whether the company is accounting for correctly or not, whether the profits that are seen are correct or not, whether the state of assets and liabilities on the balance sheet is correct or not. And then he will sign that balance sheet and say that, yes, I affirm that what is seen in these financial statements is the right information, because so many people are consuming that information. Shareholders are consuming it, the government is consuming that information, the bankers are consuming that information, in general customers are consuming that information. We all get annual reports at home, isn't it? If you haven't opened one, it's time that you open one and read that annual report to understand the kind of content that goes in that annual report. So one is an accountant, right, who's accounting for these transactions, and then is an auditor who's checking the work of the business, who's checking the work and who's certifying that yes, what you see on this P&L and balance sheet is correct or no. So very huge role. So you have a variety of auditors. I won't get deeper than this at this level, because you're still in class 11, you're starting off, and it will take some time for you to understand this. So as simple words as I can, I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay, then of course the tax department. आप डिटेल में इनकम टैक्स सीखते हैं, आप डिटेल में GST सीखते हैं, which is called indirect tax. You learn a lot of international taxation also, which is cross country taxation. So you can work in these departments. Legal governance, risk. Now governance and risk has become a very important a very important department in any business, because today's business is faced with so many different kinds of risks, isn't it? You have climatic conditions are changing, you have a pandemic that has come, you have a war that has come, and you have geopolitical risks. So all these risks are affecting so many different things, right? Our stock markets change day in and out, our currency keeps fluctuating, isn't it? The political conditions in the country keep fluctuating, because of which there is inflation. It starts affecting consumers like you and me. So there are so many different kinds of risks that a business faces, right? How to manage those risks, how to mitigate those risks, it's a very, very important role that accountants today play. Other than that, you're an expert at finance, so you can become a management accountant. You can work in the corporate finance department of a company. You can become an investment banker, so you can work in, do everything that an investment banker does, which is buying businesses, selling businesses, structuring businesses, mergers and acquisitions. Yeah? Every day in the news, every second day you'll be hearing a company is valued at so many $1 billion, right? Byju's is valued at so many $1 billion. Facebook acquires so and so company, right? Every day you're hearing some or the other company being bought, sold, and you're hearing these crazy valuations. तो ये कैसे वैल्यू आता है, एक बिजनेस को कैसे वैल्यू किया जाता है, एक बिजनेस इतने $1 बिलियन का कैसे बनता है, वो पूरा जो साइंस है वो आप एक क्वालिफिकेशन में सीखते हो. Okay, then you can become a business analyst, you can become a financial analyst, somebody who understands business and strategy very well. So these are a variety of roles that you can play. It really depends. It really starts with you understanding all these subjects, and then eventually at the end of the journey, figuring out what is your calling, figuring out what is your strength, figuring out what is your aptitude, and then getting into it, diving it, and making a great career. Okay, I don't think there is any other qualification in India that I can think of that prepares you for such a variety of roles. Hands down, you only learn this variety in this qualification. Okay. Moving ahead, so what are the subjects that you can study in the CA course? So you study accounting, like I said, you study law, you study business knowledge, you study economics, some bit of mathematics you study a lot of cost and management accounting, you study taxes, you study auditing as an auditor. How do you inspect? How do you assess, right? You study financial markets, you study capital markets. So all of these subjects are packed in 3 levels. Okay, now what are those 3 levels? Let's understand. Like I said, you have level 1, which is CA Foundation, level 2 is CA Intermediate, level 3 CA Final. Now, in the existing scheme of things, in the existing course, CA Foundation में 4 पेपर हैं, CA Intermediate में 4 पेपर्स के 2 ग्रुप्स हैं, तो टोटली 8 पेपर्स हैं, और CA फाइनल में भी 4 पेपर के 2 ग्रुप है, 8 पेपर्स हैं. तो एज ऑफ नाउ आपके CA सिलेबस में आपको 20 पेपर्स करने इन ऑल. ओके, 4 + 8 + 8. ओके, नाउ each of the paper is 100 marks. So CA Foundation is 400 marks, CA Intermediate is 800, and CA Final is 800 marks. So far, the way the passing works is you have to score a minimum of 40 marks out of 100 in each paper to pass. But as an aggregate, you have to score 50%. Okay, that's the way the CA course gives you passing. मतलब हर पेपर में आपको 100 में से minimum 40 marks लेके आना है. लेकिन as an aggregate overall percentage देखें तो आपका 50% बनना चाहिए. Is that okay? मतलब 400 में से CA फाउंडेशन में आपको कम से कम 200 मार्क्स चाहिए, एंड 800 में से CA इंटर और फाइनल में आपको दोनों में मिनिमम 400 मार्क्स चाहिए. ओके, फॉर द मोमेंट द मैनर ऑफ असेसमेंट इन CA फाउंडेशन इज सब्जेक्टिव एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव, while intermediate and final is except a couple of theory papers, it's more so subjective in nature. And it's a paper pen exam for the moment. They are not online exams. This is the existing course. Now, all of you all know that the CA Institute has issued a lot of, circulars, documents saying that they are changing the course, and we can expect a new course anytime now, right? But however, they have not still given a complete idea of what the new course looks like. Everything is in talks, everything is prospective. So I'm going to share with you some information of what the new course may look like. I repeat, this is still not finalized. This is yet to happen. So a lot of things that I may say may happen, may not happen. This is very prospective. Okay, it's very probable it may happen, it may not happen. So let's understand the information that way. Of course, when the new course is really released and once we're very sure of what the various elements look like, I will reshoot a video with very short details. But what I'm going to tell you right now is still a little bit of a gray area, but this is what the new course may look like. Okay, let's understand that. Right, now in the proposed scheme, CA Foundation will continue to be 4 papers. In CA Intermediate and CA Final, instead of 8 papers, it is proposed that there will be 6 papers. So in all, instead of doing 20 papers, the students will have to do 16 papers. Okay, so I think that's the first friendly move, if I may say, the CA Institute proposes to offer. Okay, number 2, like I told you earlier, that in the existing course, you have to score a minimum of 40 marks out of 100 in each paper, and as an aggregate, you have to score 50%. Okay, थोड़ा सा चेंज यहाँ पे प्रपोज्ड है कि आपको इंडिविजुअल भी और एग्रीगेट दोनों में आपको 50% स्कोर करना है. मतलब हर पेपर में 100 में से 50 आना चाहिए, एंड एज एन एग्रीगेट ऑल्सो 50% आना चाहिए. ठीक है, सो दैट्स द सेकेंड proposed change. Third, the coaching period, obviously I will take you through in a little more detail in the slides to come. The manner of assessment, it's proposed that each of the levels will have subjective and objective kind of questions. And as regards the mode of exam is concerned, there is still a little bit of a grey area. We're still not sure whether all the exams will be paper pen or there will be some online exams. So I think that's still a little bit of a grey area, and we really need to wait for the institute to issue the new course and till we understand, right? But the little that we understand from the various documents that they have issued in terms of a proposal, this is what it is. I think the main takeaway from this slide is that instead of 20 papers, you have to do 16 papers, which I think is the first friendly move. Okay. Now, a couple of other things that we notice in the new courses. Now, all of you all know that, to do CA, you have to do articleship. Articleship ka matlab hota hai, you have to actually go into an organization and work with a chartered accountant. It's the most wonderful part of this qualification, and I think this is, again, one of the only qualifications that emphasizes so much on practical experience, because really you will be in the classroom learning concepts, you go to your offices and apply it. Then you'll have some experiences at the office, you'll go back to class and discuss it. I think that synergy between your class and your office is wonderful, and I think आपको course खत्म होते होते बहुत wonderfully prepare कर देता है course of what your next many years will look like. Okay, now till now articleship used to be a 3-year process, so it used to be very, very long. It is proposed to reduce it to 2 years. Okay, so once again, this is another if I may say move that makes it more student friendly. So that's that. Number 2, subjects have reduced, as you know, from 20 papers you have to do 16 papers. Number 3, it is proposed that the style of assessment has to be more practical, more case study based, more application based, right? And number 4, there's going to be a lot of balance between your study and your work. सबसे biggest problem that CA students face today is बहुत multitasking करना पड़ता है. You're going to your college, you're going to your coaching classes, you have to prepare for exams, you have to work. So somewhere, the students also felt, and the CA Institute also felt, that the student is all over the place, making life very, very rigorous. So they've tried to make it a little more balanced. Well, a number of years have not changed, but they've tried to make it a little more balanced, for the students by reducing the number of subjects and reducing the articleship duration. Halaki, the number of years you will take to do a CA will not change, and why I will explain that to you in my next slide. Okay. Let's look at your timelines. Now, if you're presently in 11th standard, academic year 22-23, you will do your 12th standard in academic year 23-24, you will hit your board exam in March 24. Now, you are eligible to give your CA foundation in May 24, like in the existing course. अभी existing का बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, ठीक है? Existing में आप May 24 में CA foundation देते हो, उसके बाद 1 साल के बाद आप existing में CA intermediate exam देते हो May 25 में. May 25 में एग्जाम देने के बाद आपका रिजल्ट आता है July 25 में. आपको 3 ईयर का आर्टिकलशिप करना होता है, लेकिन द रूल इज कि जब लास्ट 6 मंथ्स आर्टिकलशिप का बचा होता है उसमें आपका CA फाइनल एग्जाम आप दे सकते हो. सो टिपिकली आपका अटेम्प्ट CA फाइनल का जो है वो आता है May 28 में, जिसका रिजल्ट आ जाता है आपका July 28 में. उसके बाद अगर थोड़ा बहुत आर्टिकलशिप बचा हो तो वो करना होता है, अदरवाइज यू आर अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट। ओके, आपका ग्रेजुएशन जो भी आप करो, बीकॉम करो, बैफ करो, वट एवर यू डिसाइड टू डू, वो होता है बिटवीन 24 to 27। सो एक साल के ग्रेजुएशन के 1 से 1.5 साल में आपका सीए हो जाता है, ये एग्जिस्टिंग स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स में। अब न्यू स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स का बात करते हैं। इन द प्रपोज्ड सिलेबस you will complete your 12th standard in March 24. You will give your CA foundation in May 24. That doesn't change. You will give your CA intermediate in May 25. That also doesn't change. The results are typically coming in July 25. Now, after that, instead of a 3-year articleship, they propose that you do a 2-year articleship, which, okay, so you will typically do your articleship in 25-26 and 26-27. After that, what the CA Institute proposes is, once your 2-year articleship is over, they want you to spend some time focused on studying. So there is a period that they talk about after your articleship ending and you having to do your CA final exams. Okay, that is the way they made it a little more balanced. Means आपका articleship खत्म होगा, उसके बाद there will be a period where you will be focused on your studies and then do your CA final. So though this is still a little bit of a grey area, but we believe that your CA final exams broadly will come at the same time, which is May 28, 6 months here and there. So we'll only get clarity once the exact course is rolled out. But there is this there is a clear understanding that after you do your 2 years of articleship, there is a period where you're focused on studying and then you do your CA final exams. So, your starting point really doesn't change. You still start your CA foundation studies with your 12th. You still give the first exam in May 24. And in all probability, you will finish your exam. You will become a chartered accountant in July 28. Plus and minus 6 months, we'll come to know that once the course is rolled out. Okay, BCom obviously remains from 24 to 27. Okay, now some of you all have this thought that नहीं, हमको May exam CA का नहीं देना है, हमको November exam से शुरू करना है। तो in the existing scheme of things, what happens is that you give your 12th standard in March 24. Then instead of giving CA foundation in May, you can give your CA foundation in November 24. तो इसका पढ़ाई जो है ये 12th के साथ नहीं होगा, इसका पढ़ाई 12th के बाद होगा। आपको May 24 देना है तो आपको 12th और CAFC का पढ़ाई साथ में शुरू करना होगा, और आपको अगर May नहीं दे के November देना है तो आपका 12th का पढ़ाई के साथ CAFC का पढ़ाई नहीं होगा. That will start after the board exam. So you will do rigorous preparation from April to November and give your CAFC exams in November 24. Everything thereafter becomes November. So CA Inter becomes November 25. You get your results after 3 months in Feb 26. Then you do your 3 year of articleship, and in the last 6 months, you give your exam in November 28, and Jan 29 you get your results. So your journey exactly remains the same. You have just added 6 extra months. And in case you decide to do your November 24 in the proposed scheme. So proposed scheme maybe सब कुछ same है. March 24 you do your board exams. November 24 you do your CA foundation exams. Okay. Then November 25 you do your CA intermediate exams. You get your results in Feb 26. You do your 2 years of articleship. Then like I said, there is a period where you are focused on studying. In all possibility, your exam will be November 28. While I again repeat, this is a bit of a grey area, but assuming that your exam is in November 28 latest, you will become a chartered accountant by Jan 29. Usually not a delay beyond that. Okay, so this is what a May and a November program really looks like. Your graduation is still happening between June 24 to March 27. Okay, so this is what your program looks like. Now, a lot of students often ask, sir, should we begin CAFC in May, or should we do CAFC November attempt? Now, let me tell you one very important thing. CA foundation syllabus and 12 standard syllabus is quite a bit of an overlap. Yes, no doubt that CA foundation, the level is much higher. But for example, if I talk about accounting, a lot of topics in accounting are similar between 12th and CFC. And of course, many more topics to come. If I talk about business studies, a lot of topics are common with OC. If I talk about economics, a lot of topics are common with economics syllabus in 12th. While the assessment style, kind of questions that come, level of questions that come, level of concepts is much, much higher in CFC. But the 12 standard studies will be very helpful, in setting the base so that you can then learn the next level immediately. Other way around, CAFC studies करते करते बहुत सारा 12th standard का syllabus at least ये same subjects में revise हो जाता है. So I recommend to students that I know that it is it's going to be a lot of multitasking between doing your 12th standard and your CAFC together, but I think you should still give it a try. Okay, because like I said, there's a lot of overlap of syllabus, which is very helpful, number one. Number two is, I always feel that in the CA course, it's better to start a little early, because if all is good, fingers crossed, you'll make it in the first go. But if for some reason something goes wrong, you will keep adding 6 extra months, okay? Because exam happens only twice a year, 6 months, right? So the earlier you start, you have 6 extra months on hand, which is like your buffer time. Having said that, suppose if you start preparing for CFC May exam with your 12th, and let's say down the year you realize it's not happening, for some reason you're not able to multitask, no problem. You can always pause, nothing is gone a waste, and you can pick up your studies after your board exam and look at the November exam. Okay, so nothing really changes, nothing goes a waste. So let's say आपने अपना preparation April में 12th के साथ CFC का शुरू कर दिया. You're able to make it do it and balance between both, wonderful. For some reason जून जुलाई आते आते आपको ऐसा लगता है मेरे से धुंधे नहीं हो पा रहे, तो कोई बात नहीं, पॉज कर दो, रीस्टार्ट द प्रिपरेशन आफ्टर योर बोर्ड एग्जाम एंड नवंबर एग्जाम दे दो, तो एटलीस्ट जो पढ़ा है वो वेस्ट नहीं जाएगा. इसलिए मेरा फर्स्ट रिकमेंडेशन टू स्टूडेंट्स इज दैट सीए करना है तो फर्स्ट 12th के साथ कोशिश करना टू डू इट. कर सको तो वंडरफुल, नहीं कर सको देन यू स्किप टू द नवंबर अटेम्प्ट. ओके, now what does the CA foundation course look like? इसका बात करते हैं. You have, in the existing scheme of things, existing syllabus, you have 4 papers to do. Paper 1 is accounting, 100 marks. Paper 2 is business law and business correspondence and reporting. Business law is 60 marks. Business correspondence and reporting is like business English, writing emails, letters, formal English language, business language. That's 40 marks. This makes it 100. ये दोनों papers structured है. Structured है मतलब you have to actually go and you have to write descriptive answers. Okay. Business maths is the 3rd paper and business economics and commercial knowledge is the 4th paper. So 4th paper's business economics is 60 marks. Business and commercial knowledge is like your OC. That's another 40 marks. That adds up to 100. Now maths and economics and OC, that's paper 3 and paper 4, are objective in nature. They are not descriptive papers. They are multiple choice papers where every answer is 1 mark, every wrong answer is negative 0.25 marks. Okay, so you have 2 structured papers and 2 objective papers. As of today, the passing protocol is that you have to score a minimum of 40 marks in each paper. So 40 out of 100 is the minimum pass, but as an aggregate, you can't score 40 into 4, 160, you have to score at least 200. मैंने बताया था आपको aggregate is minimum 50%. This is the existing case. Now, what does the proposed CA foundation papers look like? Paper 1 continues to be accounting, there is no change. Topics थोड़े बहुत बढ़ सकते हैं, कम हो सकते हैं, but subject is really the same. Paper 2 is law. इससे क्या हट गया है? ये जो बिजनेस कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस एंड रिपोर्टिंग था, बिजनेस इंग्लिश, उसको हटा दिया है एंड दे हैव मेड इट 100 मार्क्स लॉ. सो डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी मोर लॉस टू डू. दैट्स पेपर नंबर 2. Paper 3 is quantitative aptitude. Okay, so these 2 papers are still structured papers, which means they're descriptive. Everything remains the same. You have to actually go and write an answer. Paper 3 is maths, quantitative aptitude, which is 100 marks. So maths also, topics may be, थोड़े कम, थोड़े ज़्यादा, but subject remains the same. And paper 4 is business economics. Now they have removed supposedly business and commercial knowledge. Okay, at least that is not seen in the proposed scheme. So business economics is 100 marks once again. And paper 3 and paper 4 is again objective in nature, which means there are MCQs. Every MCQ is 1 mark, and mostly there'll be 0.25 negative marking if you don't score the right MCQ. So this is what the new proposed scheme looks like. The passing protocol is you have to score minimum, not 40 now, minimum 50 marks in each paper, and that's 50%, and also in the aggregate you have to score 200 marks. So you have to really score in the paper if you have to pass. So if you observe, CA foundation का broadly subjects same है. Accounts ही है, topics ऊपर नीचे हो सकते हैं थोड़े बहुत, maths ही है, law ही है. In fact business English हट गया है तो laws बढ़ेगा ही. एंड इकोनॉमिक्स भी इकोनॉमिक्स ही है, उसमें कमर्शियल नॉलेज, जो कमर्शियल ओसी वाला पार्ट है, जैसे मैंने कहा बिजनेस एंड कमर्शियल नॉलेज, वो हट गया है. सो प्रोबेबली देयर विल बी मोर इकोनॉमिक्स टॉपिक्स, बट ब्रॉडली द 4 papers remain the same to continue to be structured, to continue to be objective, okay? And your attempt has not changed. You still will appear for your CA foundation in May of 2024, which means your starting point of preparation, that is April 23, remains the same. So one very very big point which I want to remove from students' mind is if you're constantly thinking, sir new course क्या है, कैसा होगा, तो changes तो बहुत सारे हैं, in fact बहुत student friendly changes हैं, so it's good for you. But as regards your first level is concerned, which is CA foundation, nothing has really changed. Papers 4 ही है, syllabus थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे definitely हुआ है, okay? 2 papers तब भी same है, okay? और 2 papers में कुछ पार्ट्स निकल गए हैं, और आपका अटेम्प्ट भी सेम है, मतलब आपका प्रिपरेशन मंथ डजंट चेंज. तो स्टूडेंट्स यू डोंट हैव टू थिंक मच, आपको अप्रैल 23 में तैयारी तो शुरू करनी ही है. तब तक होपफुली नया सिलेबस आ गया तो वंडरफुल, विल एक्जैक्टली नो व्हाट टू डू. नहीं आया तो एटलीस्ट जो शॉर्ट पार्ट्स है, जैसे अकाउंट्स में जो मेजर टॉपिक्स है वो चेंज नहीं होंगे. लॉ में यू नो देयर आर सम फंडामेंटल पार्ट्स, दे विल नेवर चेंज. Likewise in math and eco, we will start that. So we will start with all those topics in 4 papers, which are very sure will never change. In the timing, if the new syllabus comes, then we'll obviously graduate to that. If not, we'll continue the old syllabus. Okay? But your preparation time, preparation style will not change. Is that very, very clear? Okay? So therefore, at Pinnacle Education, we will begin the CFC May 24 attempt batch in April 1st week. Okay? A lot of the syllabus will happen in sync with the 12th standard syllabus. So काफ़ी 12th में topics जैसे आप accounts में करोगे या maths में या economics में करोगे, law तो completely new है. We'll try to take a lot of topics in sync, in tandem, and take you to the next level in CFC. So a lot of our 12th and CA syllabus will go very well planned, very hand in hand. Okay, the batches typically get over in so the way the year looks is you start preparation in April, May and June. With your 12th syllabus, we do CFC syllabus 4 to 5 hours daily, 5 to 6 days a week, and cover quite a bit of syllabus before your BCom colleges, before your 12th standard colleges begin. And then once your 12th colleges have begin mid-June onwards, then while mornings are focused on 12th standard, evenings will be focused on CFC, once again 5 to 6 days a week at least. Okay, you will do your preparation religiously till October, November. Thereafter after November we'll give you a bit of a break to focus on your prelims, board exams, etc. Then we'll catch you once again after your board exam, rigorously prepare you in March, April, and May we'll tell you to do the exam. CA exam, students, is never the syllabus is so huge and there's so much to do कि there is never a point where you will say I'm fully prepared. होता ही नहीं है वो, it's really the best of the worst. It is a mess, but we have to try to, as mentors, get a lot of method to that madness. Prepare you exactly with what the exam needs and push you to do it. और उसमें students clear भी हो जाते हैं और उनको rank भी आ जाता है. Okay, so this is what the May this thing looks like. And for some reason, if you can't do May and you want to do November, then obviously the preparation is very different. Then we don't do anything with 12. We start all the preparation after your board exams. So आपका 2024 मार्च में जब board exams होगा तो उसके बाद April 24 में आपका preparation शुरू हो जाएगा for the November. तो वहाँ पे फिर आप April से August extensively prepare करोगे. And then you will then there'll be self-study time, mocks, etc. And then you'll hit the exam in November 24. Okay, but I still insist that give it a try for May 24 first. If you can't do it, then you only skip to November. Okay, this is what the CAFC team, if I may say, looks like. Along with me and my colleague Pooja, we'll mentor you. There will be the other faculties that you can see on screens, and a lot of them are in common with the 12th standard in our class. So there is a lot of coordination happening between the 12th standard syllabus and the CFC syllabus. And of course, along the way, many faculties get added for CA intern, CA final, and it's one huge, wonderful, very, very experienced team that I can promise you of. Okay. And needless to say, students, that clearing a CA exam is really about learning a lot of very interesting techniques. Okay, last 2 minutes I will take. The CA examiner wants to test you on a lot of things which is very different from your 12th standard board exams. They want to test you on conceptual clarity, application, strategy, speed, dealing with unknown. Okay, so it's really planning a paper like a chessboard. Knowing parts of the paper that you know well, so doing those very well, dealing with unknown questions with a cool, not having a panic attack. So it's a host of skills you need to learn. और वो सब तभी आता है when you have the right mentors and you use the right strategy to be able to take the course. So at Pinnacle Education, we've realized that a combination of all of this is what gets you fully prepared for any exam, whether it's CA Foundation, CA Inter, CA Final. So of course we coach you for all papers with very world-class content that we are very sure that if done, it'll get you through. Okay. All coaching is physical, it's under the roof, okay, but we give you live recordings of all the physical classes that have happened that go on a wonderful LMS, that LMS or that learning management system, which is called Pinnacle eCampus app. So you'll be able to solve doubts, revise. Those recordings will stay with you right till the fag end. We give you a lot of other resources on the learning management application, like blogs, test papers, revision notes, worksheets that are constantly with you. At Pinnacle Education, we focus extensively on tests. We feel that testing is so important because you don't have to get those nervous attacks and panic attacks in the exam. We need to give you all those attacks in the class. We need to challenge you with your speed. We need to challenge you with your application. We want to give you unknown things and see how you perform. We want to give you papers that challenge your strategy. So each of these skills we will handhold you and groom you and make you so strong that when you go for the exam, it's at ease. So we do a lot of progress tests and mock exams. We do a lot of pass. Needless to say, we do a lot of preparation with resources which the institute issues, like past papers, revision test papers, etc. So all of that is done extensively in the class. There is a 24/7 dedicated helpline because students need a lot of counseling in their CA course. There are days you're down, there are days you're lost. You need to sit back and make a timetable for yourself of how to study. You want to know how to multitask between going to college, doing your 12, doing your CFC. So we have dedicated counselors. And personally, I also mentor students along with my colleagues to help you get through, right? So all of this is done very, very systematically with time-tested experience, and that 5-star treatment that you will get will really get you through. And I think I'm very proud to say that apart from ranks, I think one of the beauty of our class is the pass rates. Students progress extensively. It's very, very important that you move from one level to the other. And over the years, students have made us very proud by having 2 to 3 times the institute pass rates. And that pass rate is what is, I would say, the speciality of everything that we do. Having said that, there have obviously been some wonderful rankers from the class, including All India 1st, 2nd and 4th rank. So, if you're somebody who's very excited to do a course like CA, then we are a team which is very, very excited to mentor you, guide you, train you, and make you a part of a club of students that passes well and sometimes even scores beautiful ranks, right? So reach out to our students on this contact number that's flashing on your screens. Come to us, we'll counsel you, we'll guide you, and we'll help you take the right decision. Okay? So thank you very much, and I hope you take an informed choice. All the best.